Mike Rooney. Today's free art lesson is a continuation of the last one about graying out colors. I showed where you could take a little bit of gray scrapings off your palette to gray down some colors straight out of the tube and still keep them colorful. On this one, I'm going to show you how to just use the complement. So for orange, if I wanted to tone down orange, I just add a little bit of blue. If I want to tone down green, I just add a little bit of red. So let's look how that works. All right, I don't like to use that as much because it tends to, if you get heavy-handed with it and then add the exact amounts, you tend to negate all the color. So if it's orange, you tend to lose your orange by adding blue. But if you're light-handed with it, you'll be okay. So what we're going to do is, let's say we're doing the same thing we did on the last free art lesson. We're taking this orange, we're painting straight out of the tube now, and we're just making a little orange. I'm going to make this one smaller. You've got a little orange there. We got a little bit of red. We're going to cool it off with a little bit of blue, and we're going to draw the rest of the orange here. Not trying to make a great drawing, just trying to show you what we're doing. Here's a little purple shadow coming out from behind the underneath and behind the orange. Okay. And then we had on the last one, we had a green background, which I love the way that pops against that red. We're going to go ahead and cut in that green all the way around there. I'm going to show you how to add the complements to it and tone it down, because nothing in nature would look that crazy. But usually I always start a painting like this. I always make it right out of the tube, very loud, so I can tone it down and let bits of that show. Let bits of that wildness show. What I'm going to do is just carve in a little bit of yellow right there, so that we have kind of a cream colored background or tabletop. All right, so there's what we're trying to tone down. And how do we do that? All right, what we do, let's say we want to tone down the green, we add a little bit of red. So we take red and make sure that we make it the same value as that green right there, so it's almost out of the tube probably. But I'm going to lighten it just a tad. I think it would need a little bit of lightening to bring this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it in there and just slowly rub it together. And what I'm doing is that little bit of red right there is bringing down. Look how it's toned down and calmed that green. It's not so crazy out of the tube, is it? Just by adding that little bit of pink, which is green's opposite, I've just toned that green down and made it like trees or something in the background. All right, so we take the opposite of red, which is green. We put a little bit of green, just a tad. Now, if you go too heavy-handed, it'll get crazy on you. You don't want to kill that red. You just want to knock it back a little bit. So I knocked it back a little bit. Now on the orange, the opposite on the color wheel of orange is blue. So I'm going to add a little bit of light blue on top of that orange. And I'm going to knock down. See how that knocked down? Look how that's kind of knocked down that orange a little bit. And you have to be careful you don't get too much. You get too much blue in there, you knock it down too much. Okay? Then I'm going to go a little bit of table color up under here, kind of like a little reflected light. Now I want to knock down the blue on the shadow. The opposite of blue is a little bit of orange. I take just a little bit of orange and knock it back just a little bit. But see, if I use too much orange, it'll turn colors on me. So I knocked it back, and I'm going to add a little bit of light blue here at the back of the shadow as it gets away from the orange. And then I'm going to knock down this yellow. What's the opposite of yellow? Purple. So I'm going to take my cobalt violet. I'm going to add a lot of white to the cobalt violet so that I don't drop the value. And I'm going to be sure that I got this nice and light, and I'm going to stroke a little bit of cobalt violet over that yellow. Now if you lose it, like you feel like it knocked it back too much, just go back and add some yellow and white back to it and brighten it back up. Like I kind of lost it a little bit. It got a little bit too gray on me right there. So I just go back, add a little bit of yellow and white, and get it back like I want. But now look how that yellow is toned down and how all of a sudden that thing looks like it does in reality. So there's two ways. You can gray using gray scrapings, or you can knock it down with the complement. I hope these have helped you. I hope you can start making your colors more realistic and tone them down without losing their color. If you'd like to see more about me, you can go to Mike Rooney Studios blogspot.com.